So there seems to be additional confusion over how MA and time interact with MAS. So the first thing you want to do is remember the equation. MA times time equals MAS. So if you want to change your MAS, you have to change either your time or your MA. How do you decide which one you're going to change? MA is almost always the same. If you're using a tabletop, your MA is going to be 100. If you're using a tray, your MA is going to be 300. So most of the time, your X-ray film is going to be staying in the same place. Your MA is going to stay the same, either at 100 or 300. So you're going to be changing your time in order to change your MAS. Now in reality, when you go to the machine, you're only going to be changing one dial, but two things on the machine will change because MA times time equals MAS. So that's the first thing to remember. Second thing is when you're doing your calculations and you're coming up with a new MAS, make sure you always check your math at the end. A mistake a lot of people make is they tell me what their new MAS is going to be. They say, I want my new MAS to be 6.5, but they didn't actually change their MA or time. And when I multiply out their MA times time, it equals 5.0. So although you told me the correct new MAS, what you've told me you're going to set on the machine isn't actually going to give you that new MAS. So always double check that in the end, that your equation works out. Third thing, how do I know what MAS to choose? If there's more than one, 30 to 50%, that's a range. The reason that's a range is because we only have certain times that we can choose, right? On our X-ray machine, when you go to a dial, you only have certain ones. You have 1 over 20, 1 over 30, 1 over 40. You don't have 1 over 128 or 1 over 46. That's not a choice. So when you're choosing your MAS, figure out that 30% and the 50%, figure out the range, and then look at your MAS chart and pick out an MAS that fits within that range. So if your range is say 3.25 to 3.75, and you know you want an MA of 100, if you look at the chart, your only choice is an MAS of 3.3. So there's your new MAS, it's going to be 3.3. It's in the correct range. You know your MA is 100, and now you just have to look at the chart and pull off the time, and all of your work is done.